Okay, here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Caleb Hale, the Director of Communications for the SIU Alumni Association. We're back today for another live chat, this time with Todd Bryson, who is our Associate Chancellor of Diversity here at SIU. We're doing a chat today about a number of issues, actually, having to do with diversity, but also minority student enrollment on campus, and I wanted to bring Todd into the chat. He's joining us here from his phone. Wanted to let him do a little bit of an introduction of himself, and then we'll kind of launch into the discussion from there. So, Todd, welcome.
Hey, Caleb, thank you for allowing me to join you today. I appreciate it. Yeah, my name is Todd Bryson. As Caleb says, I'm the interim associate chancellor for diversity. I oversee the affirmative action office, the Student and Multicultural Resource Center, which houses the Black Resource Center, the Women's Resource Center, the LGBTQ Resource Center, and Hispanic Latino Resource Center. Thank you for allowing me to join you today.
No problem. I wanted to go through one housekeeping item here for the association side. If you can see down on your lower third of your screen there, the SIU Alumni Association does have a new smartphone app that we launched with earlier this month. So it's available on iOS and Android platforms. So you can search either in the App Store or the Google Play Store and search SIU Alumni Association and find that app there. It's a great tool for keeping connected with us, and it also has university news feeds coming through it as well. So, whenever we have news items or updates or anything else that comes through, it'll be flowing through that app as well. So I'd recommend, if you haven't done so, go ahead and download that today. But Todd, I wanted to let you kind of start off with really an update on where things stand in terms of recent enrollment trends, particularly involved with minority students. What's it been looking like this past year, and what's kind of coming up around the corner?
Okay, well, Caleb, thank you. I'm going to be reading some things, so please forgive me for looking down at the screen to make sure I get these numbers correctly. So, the trend for minority enrollment for undergraduates in 2019 was 20.9, and in the fall of 2020 was 21.5. So we're going in the right direction there. Overall minority enrollment increased from 27.2% in 2019 to 27.6 in the fall of 2020. So like I said, we're going in the right direction there as well. And to break it down a little bit for African American undergraduate enrollment increased from 9.9 in 2019 to 10.6 in 2020. For Hispanic students, undergraduate students, enrollment increased from 6.9 to 7.1. We do have some work to do there when it comes to Hispanic students. Our Hispanic population in the state is around 15%, and so we have some work to do there. But we are showing increases from 6.9 to 7.1, and going to females for undergraduate students has increased from 33.57 to 35.4. But our negative is that we have seen a decrease in the overall and disabled students enrollment from 4.13% to 3.9%. As I talk about going in the future, before I provide these numbers for 2021, I want you all to know I'm comparing numbers from 25 weeks out, which we are from the start of the semester, from 2020 to 2021. Our numbers are compared to last year, which are good, but so we are moving in the right direction. These numbers reflect the first-time freshmen. For African Americans, last year we admitted 1,169 students, and in 2021, and we have admitted 1,526 for 2021. I'm sorry. For Hispanic students, last year we admitted 857, and this year we admitted 928, and that is out of 1,355 applicants compared to 1,293 for in 2020. So we are moving in the right direction when it comes to minority recruitment at SIU Carbondale. We have a lot of work to do. Don't get me wrong, but because we have fallen off, but we are moving in the right direction.
All right, and I think part of this goes to the fact that earlier this year there was the announcement about the Saluki Commitment
Yes.
that was put out, and this is it's a really great program. I'll kind of let you explain what the details of it are, or what the crux of it is.
Well, the SIU system have come out with the what's called the commitment, and each school has something different. At SIU Everettsville, they have the Cougar commitment, and SIU Carbondale, we have the Sloop commitment. I would love to give you the website, but it's fao.siu.edu/types types/Sluky/commitment.php. But if you go to our website, all you've got to do is put in the search bar Sluky Commitment, and it'll bring it up. And Sluky Commitment is being a first-time incoming freshman enrolling full-time in fall 2021, have a cumulative GPA of a 2.75 or higher, and have an annual family income less than $63,575 with assets less than $50,000. Be an Illinois resident who attended Illinois high school. Be a dependent student under age of 24. Be eligible for federal financial aid. What this does is, if you qualify for SLU commitment, your mandatory fees will be covered, and all other financial aid is applied, and that's and it's capped at 15 hours. But it's a great program for our students in the state of Illinois. Let's say for local students, if you have a student from Heron, Carbondale, Marion who wants to stay at home, they will probably basically go to school for free. Now, this doesn't cover housing costs. However, that's why I say it's great for our local students. But even with our upstate students and students that are not that cannot drive to campus every day, this is still going to save them a whole lot of money. So a lot of students will be able to go to school for free, and it's a great program. And like I said, we're doing it here at SIU Carbondale, and it's also being duplicated at SIU Everettsville.
Right, and the beauty part of this is there's really no additional paperwork involved as well.
No, no.
Beyond what you would fill out for your financial aid, it will kick in automatically if you do meet the requirements. So
yes,
it's really something that doesn't require a lot of additional paperwork. It's just something that's going to be there for you.
Yes, and the students just need to complete their FAFSA application, and I believe they have to do it by May 1st. So, which most of our students do. So this is a great program, and I guarantee you that this is going to help a lot of our students, especially locally, complete their degree here at SIU Carbondale.
All right. We talk about minority and diversity in higher education. Talk a little bit about why that's important. And I kind of share it from my point of view whenever when someone says, well, what's kind of the importance of diversity in a higher education setting? And I take it from my personal story. I went to a small rural school district that had 0 minority students really at all for my year. I went from kindergarten to high school. I never had an African American classmate until I got to SIU at college. And it was kind of through those experiences and seeing, it's just talking with different people from different backgrounds that you really start to broaden your scope of the world. Because where I'm from, when you talk about things like racism, when you talk about things like bigotry, you learn those things kind of through history class. And that kind of implicitly, it's not explicitly said, but it's implicitly said that those kind of things kind of belong in history and that they're in the past. That's not the case.
No.
I mean, I entered SIU thinking that, these things largely were a history lesson. That yes, there's still racism in the country, but they operate on the fringes of society necessarily. That's kind of what you're implicitly kind of led towards on these things. You don't necessarily pick up on what's the systematic, how systemic it is, how ingrained into some of the structures that it remains in place for, just by virtue of the fact that, so many of these things are still in place. So, I mean, what's kind of that importance from your end, talking about why it's important to have a diverse campus?
Well, I will put it this way, Caleb. You explained it very well, but I will tell you that it's very important from the standpoint. I don't know an all-white company. I don't know a all-male company. I don't know an all-female company. I don't know any company or wherever you go to higher, you come to higher education so that you can get a degree and so that you can go out and work. There are very, very few companies that you will not experience diversity in the workplace. You will not even in today's society, the landscape of culture and ethnicity is changing in the United States. So you're going to come across people who are different from you. You're going to come across people who don't look like you, might not have the same mindset as you. And when you're growing up in a situation where everybody is the same as you, you're not going to get that broad perspective. So higher education gives you the opportunity to learn about different cultures. I mean, you think about all the things that we do on this campus. We have, starting in September, we have Hispanic Heritage Month. Then we go to LGBTQ Heritage Month. And then you go to Native American. And we have all those months so people can have that opportunity. You think about it, going back to studies in the 80s and 90s, we were one of the top international schools in the country. Where there's not many places in the country that you can go get, you have experience with international students and faculty. And it's one of those things that you need to have in your life, because I've always said that people, and this is just a personal anecdote of mine, if you may talk about somebody, but eventually that person's gonna be in your family. So you better learn how to have a conversation with that person so that you can understand where they're coming from. But it also is not just diversity of ethnicity, it's diversity of thought.
Right.
When you talk about inclusive excellence, me and you, yeah, we're having a conversation right now, but you could have a totally different opinion of mine than I do. But we can have a logical discussion and discuss it, and I can listen to you, you can listen to me. I may not agree with you 100%, but I have to hear you. And so it all comes down to having an open mind to understand that, when you're talking about history, what we read in history books is, some people say that's their story. That may not be the truth.
Right.
We have, over the last couple of years, we've had a problem with Columbus Day. And, people say that's not the right thing we need to celebrate, because that's what we were told. That doesn't mean it's correct. That just means what we were told. So it takes, you have to listen to other people to get the full understanding of what actually happened, and have an open mind to doing that. If you have a closed mind to it, you're never going to change. So diversity allows your mind to think, and allows you to give you opportunity to change your previous belief system.
Right. And in some way, it's very integral that a campus has to be diverse for your mind to be fully open, because you can go to a college and you can learn about these things in books in the classroom, but until you're out there interacting with these people on your own, people from different backgrounds, you're missing something. You're not really picking up on the intricacies from conversations, from in-depth discussions
No.
on this.
And,
That's
and
part of the value of the campus experience. And the campus like SIU is in the diversity, is just what you can be involved in
yeah,
by virtue of walking across the campus on an average day.
I will tell you that if you walk, and a lot of people live, well, West Campus and East Campus, if you walk from the towers, from May Smith, let's just say, you cross the bridge, you walk past Anthony Hall, you walk up under Feiner, you walk to the library, you're going to your English class in Lawson. I guarantee you can cross so much diversity that you need to understand it. It's one of those things, you can't bypass it. No matter where you go in America, you can't bypass it. So you need to try to have an understanding of it. And SIU gives you that opportunity to do that here. That's here. And so I'm very happy. I grew up here in Carbondale. And I'm very happy to be working here because of the diversity that is here at SIU. And as I've talked to and have been on search committees and everything, one thing that people always tout is they want to come to a place that is just as diverse as SIU, because some of the schools they come from don't have that diversity that we have here.
Right. And part of that is it's important to, while you have to have that diversity, structurally it takes a lot of work to support that, because of the
Yes.
fact that not everyone has the same opportunities as everyone else. Just because they arrive on campus doesn't necessarily mean they're positioned to thrive on campus once they get here. And that's why I wanted to kind of transition into the Future Scholars program as well. This is a program that I think is due for a renaming here soon, but it's been a program that's been kind of around for a long time, but I think it's being built up again. So I'll let you kind of explain what this is.
Okay. Chancellor Lane started July 1st of 2020, and we've had some many conversations on campus, and we had a program prior to, I think it ended in like 2011. It was called the Future Scholars Program, and we are bringing it back for this summer, and it's going to be renamed to the Dr. Seymour Bryson Future Scholars Program. And Dr. Seymour Bryson helped start that program years and years ago, and it ran it was very successful. And I'll give you a little bit of some background with this, what's going to happen this summer. The dates are July 6th to July 30th. We're going to have 50 students in the program. The goals are to get the students will get an early start to their college career. They'll be able to register for their summer and fall classes early. They'll be on campus. They'll take up to 8 hours of university core curriculum 5 days a week, attend mandatory study table and tutoring and academic coaching services, have access to campus resources, attend workshops provided by campus partners, and there will be a exploratory student advisement program for a year with one-on-one academic advisement, mentoring, career counseling, and developing of campus resources. I also want to let you know, I'd be remiss if I don't say the SIU Foundation, which many of your listeners are part of and have given to this program. SIU Foundation is sponsoring this program, so I'm very grateful to the SIU Foundation to help us sponsor this program. This program will be run by Mr. Jeff McGoy, who is the director of the Saluki Success Program. Many of the listeners probably know Jeff. Jeff has been around for SIU for a long time, and Jeff will do a great job with this program. It's going to be a game changer for us here at Caleb. We're hoping to have 90% transition rate from this program into the fall semester. You may have one or two that don't do well with it, but I believe this is going to be a game changer. And most of these students are going to be with a GPA. As you know, we got rid of the ACT and SAT score,
Right.
as far as requirement of coming into SIU. So these students will have probably a 2.0 to a 2.5, 2.6 GPA. They're going to need some extra assistance. So this program is going to help them transition into their first semester on campus. And like I said, they're going to take up to 8 hours. So these students will be ready to start the fall semester on August 16th. And they'll have mentoring and everything for the first year. So it's not like this program is going to be in the summer and it's going to end. They will be monitored and be assisted all throughout their first year with the help of Jeff McGoy and his program.
Right, and I know some people may not know Jeff, some people might, but I'd say if anyone can make a good first impression, it's Jeff on a number of students who are coming here, especially getting introduced to what campus life is about and what the expectations are. And these are the programs that are important, because a lot of times, I mean, whether you have an opinion of whether or not it should be or measured or not, it falls to the university sometimes to catch a student up as to where they haven't what they haven't gotten through no fault of their own. And I think that speaks to the service mission of SIU in general. We've always kind of had that mission of giving a chance to the people who wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to do this. So I think is a great carrying on of that tradition. Go ahead.
No, and I agree with you 100%, Caleb. And the other thing is that some of our listeners came through programs like this.
Right.
Some of our happiest alumni, the ones that support us the most, came through programs like this. And this is all we're doing is renewing a program that we used to have to get us back to where we were, because we believe in supporting all of our students. We are access school, and we've got to continue that mission. We may have gotten away from it for a little while, but we are access school, and we have to continue that promise to even to the state of Illinois to continue this, because a higher education degree is one of the most important things you can get. So that's our goal, that's our mission, and we're going to continue to do that.
Okay. What are kind of the challenges that you kind of face overall? What challenges are indicative across all of higher education when it comes to diversity, and what challenges are kind of more specific to that SIU is tackling right now at this moment?
Well, I would say the pandemic has changed some things, because there's not as many students on campus as there used to be. But I will tell you some of the challenges that most universities face is that not everybody embraces diversity. Not everybody is going to as believe in, and they have their own belief system. Our goal is to at least educate them. And one of the things that we started this year, that we're going to start in this semester, is that we're going to start diversity training for all of our staff, all of our faculty, and all of our students. Our goal is within 3 years to have all of our staff and students and faculty trained with diversity training. That's our goal. Because as we mentioned before, if you do not provide the information, people will not learn. So that's our goal to do that. We signed a 3-year contract with the company to help us do that. And so, like I said, in 3 years, we hope to have that. So every incoming freshman will be going through diversity training. Our goal is to have all new staff to starting in August to go through diversity training. So those are some of the pitfalls that you have to go through to try to get everybody on the same page. Not everybody's going to be on the same page, but you got to remember, we also have a diversity of thought. Not everybody's going to believe the same things that you do. So we have to have that. The challenges with diversity is because just take yourself, for example. You come from a different town. You know nothing different than what you learned. So you have to be willing to open up, and we have to be willing to accept you as well. We have to learn from you. It's not just learning from the minority students, or however you want to say it. We have to learn sometimes from majority, because we have to learn what you're thinking about. But I also want people to realize, when we're talking about diversity, we're not just talking about ethnic. We're talking about disabled. We're talking about veterans. We're talking about LGBTQ. We're talking about our first generation students. You're talking about our older generations. We have people come back first time going to class at 45 years old. They don't know how to navigate. We're talking about those students as well. We're talking about rural. We're talking about people from the city. There's a lot of different things. There's a lot of definitions of diversity. So when you include all those together, trying to get those people together sometimes is a problem. You also have, you have faculty and staff who are 80 years old. You have dealing with 17-year-old students. So you got that diversity of the age. So people have to learn to work within each other. And I'm gonna tell you, COVID brought that out a lot this year. Online, not online, being from home, learning from home, and being on campus. So it's a diversity of thought and diversity of education as well. So there's a lot of obstacles that we have to overcome, but I think we're on the right track of doing that, and we're going to continue to do that. And I want to say this to all your listeners. I appreciate all that you have done over the past year to help us get there. You have all participated on the Chancellor Lane Listening and Learning Tour. And in the summer of last year, we came up with a Chancellor's Task Force on Diversity and Inclusion. And we came up with some recommendations for our diversity plan. And that's going to be incorporated to all the comments and suggestions that happened during the Listening and Learning Tour. And when we come out with our strategic plan in July or August, the diversity plan will be included in that. So I want to invite everybody when it is unveiled, that everybody takes a look at it and understand what the work that we're trying to do and what we're trying to get done. And Caleb, I want to close this. And forgive me for saying this, but are starting going off topic. But I know we only have a few minutes left. But I want to say something. I want to inform you all of some of the awards the SIU has received over the last year. In 2021, NASPA Excellence Award Selection Committee awarded Dr. Linnell Love and the First Liquor Center. They have received the 2021 NASPA Excellence Civil Award in the First Generation Student Success category. That's huge for us. And we just started that first generation program a year and a half ago. So this is new, and we've already gotten an award for it. Also in November 2020, SIU Carbondale was ranked in the top 20 wheelchair-friendly colleges. Also, SIU was ranked in Campus Pride Best of the Best LGBTQ-friendly colleges and universities. So some of the awards we received just in the last 8 months. We're going in the right direction. We need everybody's help to continue that. And this is not easy. This is something that takes time, but we're moving in the right direction.
Right. And, I'd encourage everyone, when you were talking about diversity training earlier and really investing into that, and you listed off what entails diversity, the number of different types of people from different backgrounds you're talking about in life. And I know sometimes there's the talking point out there that, when you start talking about diversity training, you're trying to indoctrinate people into a certain, thought mode. That's not the case, because you have to understand that you have to know what you don't know, and you can't know. I mean, you or I, we can't know the intricacies of life for every one of these people. We don't experience it. We don't have to live with it. We don't live around it. It's not within our sphere of influence. So that's why these types of diversity training, these diversity initiatives are important. You have to bring awareness to these situations, because if you are going to have a campus with this type of diversity, you have to have the support system in place to support it as well, because it does us no good to attract a diverse crowd if the people they're around every day fundamentally don't understand it or don't have an interest in understanding it as well.
You got to have a support system for everybody,
right?
And you just can't admit students and then expect them to strive if you don't have support systems for them. And I'm gonna tell you what we have done, what has happened over the last couple of years, and for some of the people listening, what was going on back then. We've got to make sure we continue to do those things, provide support, and some of that is financial support, which you all have done tremendously, especially with the Day of Giving coming up on March 3rd. Even our office, we have about 6 scholarships that we're trying to promote for our Day of Giving, because it helps our students stay in school. The one thing I want to talk about before I close with that, and excuse me for getting the paper, I want to show something. I want the people on this call to understand this. I don't remember exactly what year we started Day of Giving, but we're going to talk about retention rates. I want them to know what their giving has helped. I'm not going to say it's 100% responsible for it, but it has helped. So we talk about retention rates, and you're talking about fall to fall for freshmen. In 2016, for minority students, it was at 51.0%, which is kind of low. But I will tell you, from entering fall 2019 and returning in fall 2020, it's gone up to 72.9%. And that has a lot to do with what the foundation has done, what our alumni have done as giving back to and helping with our scholarship. Because a lot of the problem is, as you said, people who come in be as smartest students in the world, but they need some financial assistance. They need some other assistance. And what they have done, the alumni and the foundation has done, is helped us increase that. That is over 30 1.9% in 3 years.
Right.
That's really good. So I just want everybody to know that, and that's helped, and that is minority retention rate.
And we did have a question from the comment section about the ACT and SAT about why did SIU choose to eliminate those as consideration for
Well,
enrollment?
the reason why that was done is that some other schools have done it, but we did it last year. A lot of schools are following, they're doing it, they did it for next year. We did it for last year. The reason why that was done is because those standardized tests don't really reflect, for the most part, the success of a student. It's more about GPA because, those standardized tests are 5 hours on a Saturday. That doesn't always reflect what the student knows. Some of those tests are biased, and so it's one of the things that we decided to get rid of, and base it off their 4-year college career, instead of off of a 5-hour test.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you, it's helped. And we're not the only school that's done it, but a lot of other schools are following our lead on that. And we were probably one of the first to do it, and it helped. It has helped tremendously.
And I think in the long run, you're going to find that it's more important that you have these support systems in place while they're on campus. So it's even their first day of college doesn't necessarily determine how their the next 4 years is going to go. It's what's available, who's there with them to help them through it. Those are the kinds of things that determine success or failure, I think.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%. And on top of that, I will tell you this, and this is not bragging. I want you to understand that. I got a 16 on my ACT. I wasn't even allowed to SIU. I went to a junior college, played basketball, but understand this. I graduated in 4 years, but I had a test a score of 16. And understand that back then in 1980, whatever year it was, I'm not going to say that aloud, but when I took that test, they revamped it since then. That would actually be a 14 today. And I graduated in 4 years. Right. So is that 4-hour test indicative of my success at college? No. And I graduated with I don't remember what my GPAs in high school was. It was around like 2.6, 2.7. But I graduated my first 2 semesters at junior college. I got 3.0. So it's not indicative of success of a student in a higher education, that 4-hour test, 5-hour test. So that's the reason why we got rid of it. So it was a good thing that we did.
Right. So I always ask this people as well, because given that our audience here are alumni who largely do want to help, what kinds of things do you want to put in the minds of alumni that they can do, every day that they can help with enrollment?
Well, I think the alumni have done a tremendous job. Just talking to Chancellor Lane from his listening room, they have a lot of ideas. The one thing is to help recruit our students. Tell them about the good things that SIU, what it meant to you when you were here, what it did for you. On Fridays, wear your Saluki colors. Do those things that we've been asking you to do. But also talk about if you meet a person, introduce them to SIU. Not everybody knows about SIU. A lot of our students come based on referrals that they've heard about. Their uncle, their aunt, their cousin, their mom, their dad, or their neighbor went to SIU, and they say, "Oh," or their professor went to their high school teacher went to SIU. We have a large alumni base. It's just talking positive about SIU, and there's some other things that are going to be coming up. We're going to be doing these yield events in some areas throughout the state and the country over the next couple of months. If you live in an area where we have a lot of students that have been accepted, we're going to be coming to you. Please join us in those yield events. I know we're going to probably have a website or be sending it out. Please participate in those yield events. Tell your students, tell your kids, your children, your nephews, your nieces about SIU. Those are the main things. But another thing I will tell you, is also help donate to these programs, donate to these scholarships. You all have done a great job with scholarships. And I know we have a great goal this year for the Day of Giving. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know our direct website, but we have about, like I said, 5 or 6 scholarships that that help our students stay in school. If you please donate to those accounts that's on our diversity page. But also, if there's another account that you want to help, please donate to there as well. And here's the thing: I'm not asking for $1 million. I'm not asking for $100,000. I'm asking for 10 to 15 to 20 to 30 to $40. Those help. A lot of our students need about $200 sometimes. We give out $8,000 a year in book scholarships at $250 a piece, and I guarantee you, I could use them. I give them out a lot.
Right.
And I've been in an interim role for 3 years. People forget that, not to say they forget, but when the people listening, when they went to school, they knew a student that was struggling. Maybe they were struggling. It hasn't changed. But think about the price back when they were in school and what it is now. Our average student pays $24,000 to $25,000. I mean, that's tuition and fees. It was totally different when some of our listeners were in school. But the household income hasn't changed that much. So donating to some of these scholarships would help with the Sticky Cares program, helping with and thank you so much, helping with the Future Scholars program. There's a lot of ways that alumni can get involved. And here's the thing: I already know that listeners, Chancellor, from listening learnings, the ones I've attended, they want to be involved. They have done a tremendous job in telling us they want SIU to be successful. And whatever they can do would be much appreciated.
Right. And we always say enthusiasm isn't in short supply among our alumni population.
Oh, yes.
And the thing you can do, a week from today, and I mean, you'll be able to watch the stream here on the association's Facebook page, but also other places as well. There'll be a stream going all day since we can't really do any in-person events regarding the Day of Giving. You'll be introduced to a number of projects and departments and aspects of campus that you might be interested to learn about or may want to give to. And as Todd said, these aren't large amounts of money that we're asking for people for about. And I mean, this is the day where, even a couple dollars helps build a lot of momentum for the campus. We raise a lot through this day, and it makes a huge difference in the end.
Hey, Caleb, can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
We have the other thing I would love for to ask of our alumni is when you're in town, let us know. If you want to come back and talk to our students, let us know. Our students value our alumni. They want to hear from you. Sometimes listening to Todd Bryson, they don't want to hear. Sometimes they need to hear from our alumni and what struggles or what they thought about SIU is going to help them more than whatever I can say to them. If you're ever in town, I want to give you my email address. It's T as in Tom, S as in Sam, B as in boy, 32 at SIU.edu. TSB32 at SIU.edu. My cell phone number is 618-525-3038. If you're willing to come on campus to talk to students, hopefully we'll be out of COVID by August, hopefully, that everybody can travel back to campus. But if you're ever in town and you want to talk to students, please let me know. I will make sure that I'll hook you up with a student, or if you just want to send me your email address, hey Todd, I work in management, and I may have an internship, or I would like to talk to students in the management department. Send it to me. I'll make sure that you get connected with those students. That is always very, very helpful to our students. They love hearing from our alumni. So sorry, I want to add that in before we close, Kelly, because that is very important right there.
Right. And, make sure you do contact Todd if you want to speak in particular, and Also, the Alumni Center, we're always open as well. There's always someone around available if you need to get, if you need directions to anywhere on campus or just need help about how you can engage in the life of the university. Todd, I wanted to thank you today for taking some time with us to explain a little bit about what's going on this area of campus. I think it's definitely it's probably one of the things alumni ask about most is how enrollment's going, how we're supporting the needs of students, and I think this has been an enlightening conversation to that. Definitely a good precursor to next week's Day of Giving as well. So thank you for your time, and everyone, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Kelly, for inviting me to join today. I appreciate it. Hello, everybody. Hope y'all are doing well, and see y'all soon.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye-bye.